There aren't many names in the annals of Wild West history that are as legendary as Wild Bill Hickok. Hickok has been depicted in a wide variety of media, including books, films, and television shows, because of his talent as a sharpshooter and his outgoing personality. In this video, we will delve into the life of Wild Bill Hickok and investigate the events that led up to the notorious Hand of the Dead. James Butler Hickok, better known by his nickname Wild Bill, had a life that was rich in both variety and adventure. On May 27, 1837, he joined his parents, William Alonzo Hickok and Polly Butler Hickok. He was born in Troy Grove, Illinois. Hickok was one of 6 children, with 4 brothers and 2 sisters. All of his relatives were devoted Baptists. On the other hand, Hickok's life went in a different direction when he decided to pursue a career as a chariot driver, soldier, scout, lawyer, gunman, and gambler, amongst other occupations. Hickok was a young guy when he resided with his family in a station that was located along the Underground Railroad. There, they assisted in the process of smuggling slaves out of the South. When Hickok and his father were pursued by law enforcement agents who suspected them of transporting more than hay in their carts, the officers opened fire, marking Hickok's first experience with hostile shooting. Hickok's interest in firearms was kindled as a result of this experience, and he began honing his marksmanship skills by aiming his shots at the farm's smaller species. Hickok lost his father when he was only 14 years old due to the anti-slavery sentiments that he had. Hickok began his career as a tow truck driver on the Illinois and Michigan canals 3 years later, when he was 17 years old. Shortly after that, he moved to Kansas and got work as a coach driver on the Santa Fe and Oregon Trail. Around this time, he met Bill Cody, who would eventually become famous for the Buffalo Bill Wild West Act. During 1855, railroad wagons moving along the trail were constantly endangered by robbers and Native Americans. During one of these journeys, Hickok swiftly perfected his marksmanship skills. When he was attacked by a cinnamon bear, he showed bravery and fighting skills by managing to kill the bear with his 6-inch knife, despite the fact that he was severely wounded himself. Despite the fact that he was in danger, he displayed bravery and fighting abilities. In the year 1861, he signed up to serve in the Confederate Army as a charioteer and scout. During his time in the Union Army, he was given the moniker Wild Bill. It is said that he gained the nickname Buffalo Bill in Independence, Missouri, when he stood up to a lynch mob that was planning to execute a bartender. The gathering was dispersed after Hickok fired 2 bullets into the air, and he became known as Wild Bill as a result. Hickok had a life packed with exploits, many of which were tainted with dishonorable behavior. In July of 1865, he made the acquaintance of a gambler by the name of Dave Tutt, who ultimately defeated him at the table. Because Hickok could not pay his obligation, he threatened to kill Tutt if the latter attempted to use the watch he had stolen as collateral. When the 2 men first met on July 21, 1865, they were in a public area, and Tutt was wearing the watch with great pride. Hickok was cleared of all charges despite being the one who shot and murdered Tutt. During the time that Hickok served in the Army, he made great friends with General George Custer and boasted that he was responsible for the deaths of over 100 individuals on his own. However, in 1867, he made a bid for the position of Sheriff of Ellsworth County, Kansas, but he was unsuccessful. Later in life, he took a job as sheriff in Hays City, where he was involved in multiple shootings, both in self-defense and in the course of confrontations with lawbreakers. Despite his notoriety and his standing as a legendary figure, Wild Bill Hickok was doomed to a tragic end that would ultimately secure his place in history. Hickok came to the lawless town of Deadwood, located in the Dakota Territory, on August 2, 1876. He was looking for possibilities in the gold rush. He had no idea that his run of good fortune was going to come to an end. Hickok participated in a poker game held at Saloon No. 10 on the evening of August 1, 1881. He sat with his back against the wall, which was a habit he formed because he was always on the lookout for potential dangers. He was well known for his great card skills. Hickok found himself in the middle of a crowd of people who were interested in watching the poker game he was playing. It was written in the stars that the hand Hickok was dealt that evening would be known as the dead man's hand throughout the annals of history. He was holding 2 black aces, 2 black eights, and a 5th card that he couldn't identify. There has been much discussion throughout the years regarding the precise nature of the 5th card. However, most people believe it is the 9 of diamonds. A famed gunslinger by the name of Jack McCall entered the tavern in the middle of the ongoing poker game. Because McCall had a hatred against Hickok, he approached him from behind and shot him in the back of the head. Hickok died from his wounds. Wild Bill Hickok, known as one of the most legendary gunslingers of the Old West, was killed instantaneously by the shot, ending his life. The moment when Wild Bill Hickok was dealt 2 pairs of black aces and eights, which later became known as the dead man's hand, became inextricably linked to the tragic end that befell him and became known as the dead man's hand. Since that time, it has developed a reputation as an omen of bad luck and an imminent catastrophe in the world of gaming, as well as in other areas of popular culture. Jack McCall was arrested and brought to trial, where he claimed that the shooting was an act of retribution for the killing of McCall's brother by James Butler Hickok in Abilene, Kansas. Jack McCall was taken into custody and brought to trial. However, the claim made by McCall was not backed by any evidence, and as a consequence, he was found guilty of murdering the victim. On March 1, 1877, in Yankton, which was then a part of the Dakota Territory, McCall was sentenced to the death penalty and hanged. The death of Bill Hickok marked the end of an era in the Wild West and sent shockwaves throughout the region. Hickok was a prominent figure in the region. Because of his charismatic personality, exceptional gunfighting skills, and reputation for living a larger-than-life life, people's imaginations continue to be captured by him even in modern times. The story of Wild Bill Hickok has been told in many novels, films, and television series, ensuring that his reputation as the most legendary gunslinger of the Old West will endure for many years to come. Wild Bill Hickok led a life that was filled with danger and was distinguished by a high degree of renown. His life was one that was loaded with peril and was marked by notoriety. After beginning his career in the Wild West as a chariot driver, he went on to become a lawman and a gambler, all of which helped him carve out a place for himself in the annals of Wild West history. He is now remembered as one of the most influential figures in the history of the Wild West. His tragic death, which was immortalized in the story of the infamous Dead Man's Hand, evokes memories of the anarchy and unpredictability that characterized life in the Old West. The tale of Wild Bill Hickok has been told from one generation to the next, ensuring that his name will always be connected with the pioneering spirit of the Wild West and the most famous people from that era. That's all for today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. See you next time.